Hello there, math and sports fans. This is the intro to an idea, something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I've realized recently that I have the opportunity to form research groups. So, for my family and friends and coaches, I think this could be something, but I need your questions so that I can actually form a research group and ask interesting questions. I know many people that are going to be watching this video that are in my family are like, I don't care about math. What's wrong with you? But you might care about this. So I've wanted to, for a long time, collect my mathematical thoughts about youth sports. This really stems from many years ago. I have an older brother whose birthday is today, and this is why I want to make this today. It's dedication, and the only thing I have on him is that he's 7 years older than me. In all other respects, he's better than me. Look at this. He's skinnier. He's more successful. He makes more money. His kids did better, do well in sports. Anyways, a very good man, does many great things. Has done lots of youth sports, played baseball in high school. It looks like I could fit two of him inside me, but he's older than me. Okay, so years ago when he was coaching his kids basketball, they were like under 10. He called me and said, how can I fairly divide them? What if I only have 8 on a given day? What if I have a 9? Should I just space it out? And this has led to many discussions. He's not the only person that's asked me this. For basketball, I've been asked this a lot of times by many different coaches. How can I divide it up? Should I do it a half quarter? How can I make it fair? It appears there's a desire to do this. Now, if you search online, you can find schedules like this. But I realize there's kind of a need for a collection of tools. Then for many years, I ran a baseball league, and I saw lots of different things. Coaches that had perceptions about what was fair or what needed to be competitive or how we had to do it or who had to pitch or who had to be the first baseman. And I saw lots of bad behavior. And I'm wondering if I could collect all these thoughts, add a little bit of rigor and mathematics to it, collect some data, maybe make some tools where things would be fair for people and it would still allow competitiveness. I know that leagues try to do this, but I think I have enough experience and enough experts I know that we could make a little progress here. If I get a team of researchers, imagine that. I get a team of math researchers together to kind of do this exploratory thing. We could actually make something out of this. Okay. So I'm partially making this to see what your questions are. Add them in the comments. And I'm going to see where they go. I need good questions. So here's my little pitch. This is not my main job. I'm going to be teaching. I teach lots of calculus. I've taught for 20 years at UW. I have many other projects in mind. But I think this could be something of value to many communities. So the question is playing time. I'm thinking mostly under 12 years old. You know, we jokingly say that when the kids are under 12, a lot more of them are going pro than when they're over 12, because every parent thinks their kid's going pro. So because of that, you have parents coaching, trying to be competitive, trying to get their kids playing time. And it's often not equal. Some leagues have rules for it. Some coaches bristle about it and like, oh, but I got to play this kid here. I would like to set up a scheme so that it's easier for people to do. It's automatic, okay? But still give some flexibility. My biggest complaint, I had a son that did very well in baseball. I helped coach for years. And then I have other kids that have played, and I've witnessed coaches that will take a kid and have him sit the first 2 innings of a baseball game. They're in the dugout for an hour. I mean, I view that as criminal. But I think it's because the coach is like, well, I don't know what to do. I've got 13 players. I'm just going to sit somebody 2 innings. So I think maybe if we have some structure, we can make it so a coach can be like, okay, I can be more fair and it doesn't hurt my competitiveness. And I think I could I already have some of the ideas, but I think this could be something of value. I also think youth sports is about promoting experiences. So if we could, and people are already doing this, I just want to add a little mathematics to it. We can also ask goofy questions. So if you have a goofy youth sports question, an absurd way to do substitution, that might be a fun additional thing. But I think there's a lot of interesting questions here, and I'm going to prove to my family that maybe there's a bit of math that you're willing to engage with me on. Okay, so the main sports I'm going to be thinking about are baseball, basketball, and soccer. I know a lot of soccer coaches. I have a good friend who does statistics and knows soccer, and I'm hoping I can use him for ideas there. I've been around basketball and baseball a long time and have run leagues and seen what can happen. My goal, my tools are I would like to give organization, scheduling, maybe put together some programs, but there are some out there, but I'd like to add more. One thing, this is my one pun here, is I would like to have subsets of players because they're subbing. I know it's terrible, but I would like to give a coach and say, all right, you've got these are the only players that can be point guards. You put them in a group. These are your players that can play these positions. Maybe you have some that you put in more than one, but something where the coach can kind of put players into bins, and we can add that to the organizational chart and make it somewhat more automatic. Math can do that. I know people, we can take whatever so what I'm looking for now is the information. What are the constraints? What are the things we want to do? And then I would like to put together a collection of tools, not just one site, to help people. And then add a little data on effectiveness. You know, I personally think if you take a kid and you put him in the infield for one inning, I've seen coaches that are like, I can't put him in the infield. We're going to lose. The ball will find him. And I think that philosophy is terrible because the goal is experiences. If you take a 10-year-old and you have him play in left field every single inning, have him sit 2 innings, what are we doing this for? And it's frustrating. And I see it a lot. And I think I could prove that it's not effective and give the structure so that people would have no reason to do that. Okay, so that's my soapbox. A little bit about what I've done. So here's just notebooks work I've done about the idea of putting players into bins. So I can give this structure. I know this is crazy. People are like, he's doing math. My brother's going to be like, what is this? But, you know, I think for basketball, we could just do guards and forwards, even that, and just give them initial breakup. And then talk about within that, you could have subgroups. So right now I'm just formulating questions, but I think we have a place to go. For positions, I think we could have a thing of what are interchangeable. In my experience, especially if you're talking under 10, under 12, shouldn't every kid get to play in the infield sometimes? I have coaches that'll argue about that. Baseball in particular has these traditions. We can't have everybody pitch. I think it's about experiences. I think that should happen right away. Maybe you make the first handful of games, but that's a different philosophical thing. The thing I can talk about is subbing. I've worked this out for basketball. I've worked it out for baseball. You could have 18 players. It's a simple mathematical problem on your team, which would be atrocious. And you could have 6 innings. It would just be terrible. But everyone would sit 3 innings, and it's possible to do it so nobody sits 2 consecutive innings. And to me, that's a big bit of data. So what's going on these coaches that have 12 players and have players sitting the first 2 innings? It's because the coaches are saying we think they're bad. And I just think we could publish this. Like, what are we doing? So this is serious for me. But mathematically, I think there's a bunch of interesting questions. If we're taking math onto this is not Moneyball. But I think we could say, here's how you can do it. And we can prove with data that it doesn't hurt your competitiveness. What are your questions? So there you go, family. There's a real question. What are the tools? What are the organizational things? We have already done lots of things in my family and with people I know. But what are some questions where we could push it a little further? That's what I'm asking. All right. Thanks for listening. And I hope to have, maybe in the years ahead, have more videos to add to this series, because this is a side passion. Giving kids the opportunity to experience youth sports and be in those critical moments. Be a pitcher in a certain moment. Be a batter at the top of the lineup every once in a while. I think those moments are so extremely valuable, and I think good coaches see that. But if we could bake that into the whole system, it could make everything a lot better. All right. Thanks for listening.